What's up, everybody? It's LG Doucette here. Today is Monday, September 20th, 2021. Welcome to the First Mint, a podcast where I talk about marketplace trends, big sales, and everything going on in the world of NFTs. And of course, sometimes NBA Top Shot, mostly NBA Top Shot. We got a nice show for you today. We have an interview with El Dumbo, Luke, the rep from Dapper, who's going to talk to us about trade tickets as well. A little bit of a personal conversation with him. We're also going to dive real quick into, I guess, what's happening this week on Top Shot, which we know is trade tickets, but we don't know much else, and also talk about overall sales volume of the NFT world, what we've seen in the last 30 days. That's right, we're talking other NFTs. We're dipping into it. We said we've been doing it. We're going to do it for a long time, and now we are. I also want to remind you that this is episode 99 of the First Mint, and the next one will be episode number 100. And for that one, we have a very special guest coming on, someone very important, but maybe somebody that you don't know that well, who's going to join us for that. Listen for that. That's this Wednesday. We might also be hosting some fun stuff on our Twitter, maybe a couple giveaways or something like that going down. Also want to remind you that tomorrow we will be hosting probably a club cold brew for the trade ticket drop. That's right. Everybody should be getting a pack that has 3 trade tickets, but we're going to do our own little club cold brew. Anyways, we haven't done one in a long time. Club cold brew is basically where we get on Twitter, we get on Spaces, and we yuck it up with the real Phil D and anybody else who has poured themselves a nice cold brew to get some pack luck. I want to remind everybody here that nothing on the show constitutes trading advice in any way, that the show is not affiliated with NBA Top Shot, the NBA, or Dapper Labs. I'm just a guy at his house who loves basketball and blockchain. This is the First Mint. We'll kick it off by talking about Top Shot real quick. We're expecting a relatively exciting week, but honestly have no idea what that entails beyond the trade tickets. Honestly, so much has been promised. We feel like it's starting to percolate, like it's starting to move. People have been pointing out that, the NBA tweeted about Top Shot over the weekend and that there's been some Instagram commercials or some kind of TV display commercials for Top Shot. Little bits of those marketing initiatives starting off, especially with just about a month left until the season. But we haven't gotten much news from Top Shot in terms of what some of the actual content coming out on the site, whether it's going to be run it back or any of that kind of stuff, is going to be. But I would expect that it's going to come fast and furious sometime in the next couple days. And that goes along with trade tickets, which was the major news that we found out at the end of last week. We covered it kind of extensively on the live show and also did a live Twitter Spaces with Alan and on our own. Basically, by now, you know the deal. You have until 9:30 Pacific today to trade in 3 moments for 3 trade tickets and then use those tickets during the trade ticket stress test on Tuesday to get yourself a Series 2 pack. Any moments that have been traded in for tickets will be eligible to be in those packs unless they are not Series 2 base moments. That was kind of the intention from Top Shot, is that people would give their Series 2 base moments, which most people did, but some people have been having fun with it, sending a hollow icon moment and some rare metallic gold moments and some Series 1 moments. So those moments, I'm assuming, will be kept in the Top Shot vault for future, trade ticket packs like S1 reserve packs and other things like that. But the trade tickets that we're using this Tuesday will be used to only get packs with pretty much the same moments that have been traded in, just more S2 base moments. That happens Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, I think, or 1 o'clock Pacific. Sometime you'll have to double check. We'll be tweeting it. I'll have to double check. Anyways, we'll see what else Top Shot gets up to after that. Also, we're going to gear over a little bit to general NFT news. Like I said in the teaser, you're going to start to hear a little bit more about other NFTs as we kind of diversify into other stuff that we talk about. Obviously, we did a festival 2 months ago where we talked about a bunch of other NFTs. On the podcast, we're going to start to pepper that in, both with interviews and with a little bit of weekly programming, starting with this right now, where I'm going to give a little bit of a market update on where NFTs are at. Volume over the weekend, transactions have been up on OpenSea. Sunday alone saw over 90,000 transactions, which is up 17% from the previous day and also up week-long from the previous week. Yesterday also saw $73 million in volume, just about the same as Saturday, as well as this past week. We've had about 31 to 33,000 daily users, which has been the average every day since I think about Monday. As per CryptoSlam, the top ranking Projects in terms of NFT volume in the last 7 days in order are Axie Infinity, the absolute behemoth, with $108 million of volume in the last 7 days, followed by Art Blocks with $66 million, CryptoPunks with 53, Bored Apes with 24 million, and Top Shot ranking all the way down at 24th on the 7-day volume chart with only $3.6 million. Many have said that in the last couple of days we have come out of the very short bear market from the start to middle of September. But I would actually argue that we were never really in a bear market, especially if you look at kind of like the 30-day volume and transactions. In the last 30 days, there have been over 260 wallet addresses, so individual users, you could call them, that have used OpenSea, and that is a 98% increase over the previous 30 days, and that includes the last couple days. So we're still doing quite well in terms of total wallets. And also in the last 30 days of volume has been $3.7 billion on OpenSea alone, which is 165% more than the previous 30 days. So whether you call that a bear market, maybe just a bit more of a stabilizing of a new high-end market, whatever that is, I don't think that really can qualify as a bear market just because we've come down a bit from the volume of the all-time high at the end of August. We're definitely not there quite yet. Next up, we're going to chat with Luke L. Dumbo from NBA Top Shot. He is the community rep. He and I had a conversation last night about trade tickets and what the community reaction has been to those. We also had time to have a little bit of personal chat, and honestly, we always kind of laugh and have a good time whenever we chat, so listen to our conversation. Ladies and gentlemen of the First Mint, we have a very special guest, someone who I think maybe has been on the live show, or maybe I've been on a live show with him. We've known each other for quite a long time, almost back to the first ever live show. But now he's on the other side. Now he's on the dapper side. Please welcome Luke L. Dumbo to the First Mint.
Hey mate, I just realised that's insane that I might never have been on this before. Like I just assumed I had, but I think you're right that I haven't been. And that's just like blown my mind a little bit because we chat so much. We've been on shows and chats together. How have I never came on? I don't know if that's my fault or your fault, but I'm sorry either way.
Listen, I'm glad it feels like you've been on. I'm just glad that it feels that way anyways, whether you've been on or not.
Yeah, like
I think that's important.
When you asked, hey, do you want to come and do this chat? It's only just now occurred to me that you've never asked that before, and that's blown my mind a little bit. I don't know if I should be offended. Actually, maybe I should be upset here, not shocked. That's it.
Listen, Luke. This is episode 99 of the First Mint.
Oh, so you gotta tell me.
Wednesday is episode 100 with a very special guest that I'm not going to reveal until Wednesday. And I'm just going to put it this way: I'm saving the best for last. And that includes you. Are you
finishing episode 100? Is that it? No more First Mint?
That's it. Yeah, the First Mint's over. We're closing up shop. It's only ever going to be 100 episodes, man. That's it.
I love that. Ellie, go on to series 2 First Mint.
And then it'll be like we'll make a terrible infomercial that's like, take out your credit card and call this number to order the 100 set of the podcast, and you can collect each one as an NFT.
I hope
terrible audio NFT.
Very long NFT. I hope you've got a great name lined up for 99. There's so many options there.
Well, I mean, you're 99.
As in a name for the podcast, as in a name for the episode.
No.
I have big expectations. No, what? Oh,
I honestly, maybe people think that this is like some massive production, but it's literally like late at like midnight the day before. I'm like, all right, what's the title of this podcast going to be? And I always try and come up with something kind of dramatic and like interesting. So I have no idea. It honestly, Luke, it depends what you tell me on the show.
I'll think of like a way to slip in like a clickbait title. I find a way. I mean, I was having a dream. I was chatting to Shaq, and then you could just take the second part. Don't say it was a dream. There's your title. Job done.
I'll just the name of the podcast will be Chatting with Shaq. People
Quotation
will be
marks.
so disappointed when they turn it on that it's not. There's no Shaq, and it's just you saying a dream about it.
Oh, I'm gonna get fired for it just for like the amount of hate I'll get.
All right. Okay, I'm glad this is how we spent the first 3 minutes recording. Okay. You started off as a collector, and now you're on the other side. Now you're working at Top Shot and for Dapper. What What has that transition been like? Because that's been like 5 months now, I think, like 4 or 5 months at least since you were brought on.
Yeah, I think it's 4 months and about 2, 3 weeks, so almost five. Yeah, it's
Wow.
been crazy to be honest, because as people know, like Top Shot time hits different. Like it both feels like a very long amount of time, but it's also gone so quickly.
Mm,
And like it's been awesome to be honest. I never like, personal information about me. I wasn't working a sort of typical job before. I didn't ever expect to get a typical job. So like, I mean,
mm,
even calling it typical feels weird, but like a sort of a salary job, I wasn't expecting to get. But I
mm.
just really enjoy it. It's been really fun, and I've had an amazing time. And I'm really looking forward to the hopefully next 4 months plus. But who knows? Maybe if this podcast goes too badly, that might not happen. But no, working at Dapper, it's kind of like when you turn what was a hobby that I was super passionate about, i.e., collecting a Top Shot, into a job, it changes, but it doesn't feel
Mm,
like work. Like the
mhm.
cliche, you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. It's kind of true. And I definitely feel like
That's
that on a
nice to
day-to-day
hear.
basis, which is cool. But I mean, don't
That's
don't
nice
tell
to
like
hear,
Jacob
man.
that. Tell Jacob that I'm hating it. He needs to give me a raise, all that sort of stuff. But
The-
for everyone else to know, I'm loving it and it's amazing.
Wow. Oh man. Well, that's good to hear. And yeah, Jacob, give this man a raise. Pay this man, please.
I'm just kidding. I'm
What
just
what?
kidding.
Actually, here's a question for you. It's something I kind of don't struggle with, but I'm curious about for myself too. When you have to catch up with friends that you haven't spoken to in a while, how do you describe you tell them you're like, hey, I have like you're saying you haven't had too much of a normal job before, and you're like, hey, I have like a salaried position now. How do you describe what you do?
Oh, mate, I don't know, man. Like explaining Top Shot as it's like as a platform project to someone who's never heard of NFTs and isn't
Mm,
like a collector of say cards or something like that before is already kind of difficult.
mhm,
So I generally just say like I work for a company that provides digital collectibles to the NBA, which leads to so many questions. Like obviously I'm from the UK. NBA doesn't have quite the
mhm,
reach or sort of the influence that it does in the US. So people are mostly just shocked that I somehow ended up in an NBA industry at all. But also like just generally excited. People are seeing NFTs in the news, so like, oh yeah, like
mhm,
I heard about that. Like, what does it actually mean? And you generally find like my experience, at least when I talk to my friends and like extended family, is excitement to learn what an NFT is from someone who actually works on them. So
mhm.
yeah, generally positive confusion. I would say a positive surprise. I should say that's kind of the reaction
Right.
from people I know.
Oh man, I like when even when you said it, and don't take any offense to this, but it sounds so mundane. Where you're like, I work for a company that makes digital collectibles for the NBA. Like that is so that's accurate, but at the same time, I'm like, God, that's it's so much more epic than that. But that
Yeah,
is that
exactly.
is like it's like that's like the clinical definition, yes, of what you do. Absolutely. But the day-to-day experience feels like so much more than that statement embodies, right?
Yeah, but it's like if they know about NFTs, if they know what Top Shot is, like obviously if you know NFTs, you probably have heard of
Mm.
Dapper Labs. It's a very different conversation. It's way more exciting. But
Yeah.
otherwise, if people are like, oh, I work in an office or I'm a lawyer, I'm an accountant, like you can't come in with too much excitement. Like, oh, I feel like I'm
Mhm.
changing the world of digital fandom for basketball. You can't come in saying that because
Yeah.
that's like, well, mate, calm down. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. It's hard to encapsulate it in a sentence. Unfortunately, thanks to COVID, I'm not really socializing much anyway in the last sort of year or so. So haven't had to have
Hmm.
that conversation too much.
Well, that's fair. I mean, your socializing is probably online, like it is for most of us now in
Yeah,
the
exactly.
NFT world.
Just send them a
Um,
link. I'm just like, this is what I do.
yeah, yeah. Here's his Twitter profile. It's an image of Dumbo the elephant in a Top Shot moment. That's him.
uh,
That's what he does. A question for you, actually. Now that you're on the Dapper side and you have obviously insight into what's coming, which is something that we like to speculate a lot, and many people in the community do. How do you like when you see us tweet about like, oh, who's excited for this to happen? When do you think it's going to happen? When's this and this happening? How does it feel to have to like just kind of like bite your lip and be like, oh, just can't tell you, but maybe you're excited to tell us or something? Like, how does it feel to know and not be able to, in a sense, tell anybody?
it's honestly still really exciting because it's quite easy for myself to like put my collector hat on and be like, yeah, this is what would be thinking. This is what I'll be tweeting when I saw it. And
Mm,
I really enjoy like jumping into those threads and just reading, seeing what people are saying and seeing how people react. And I think it's not only really fun, but it's really useful to know. So like for
mm,
example, we just released trading tickets a few days ago, and we put out like the announcement blog, an economist blog, and like an FAQ page and a help center, as well as like a video explainer. And we did like these 4 forms of getting that information out in sort of for different reasons for each one, sort of thing, and like seeing what people reacted to and where like what was useful, etc., is really useful for us moving forward. And like, for example, everyone was talking about the Economist blog, and that was obviously quite a lengthy read. So I was surprised so many people were like taking the time to read through it. But to me, it highlighted like, if we put that information out there, a lot of people will take the time to go through it and digest it and try to understand
Absolutely.
it as in depth as they can. And that's just really exciting to see. So like, people quoting lines from the Economist blog, it gets me excited. Now, when they're talking about what does this mean and what does that mean, honestly, it's kind of fun, but in like a I'm there with you speculating way, because people don't speculate on like, oh, what's going to happen on Tuesday next week. They speculate on like, what's this big ass feature coming next month, next year, like if we were to say, what are you excited for right now? You're not going to tell me, oh, I'm excited for maybe a drop in a week's time. You're going to tell me I'm excited for like a potential burn-in feature. I'm excited to see what you do in series in the next season, what sort of activations you do, etc. Like, it would be really exciting conversations for me, because I'm also speculating to a certain degree as well. Because they don't tell Dumbo everything for sure. They definitely leave me in the dark on some stuff, because I don't need to know what's coming up in like a year's time. That's for like the engineers and the product team.
Okay, here's a question for you. It's a good analogy for like how much you're told. What like level of like classified access do you have out of like 10? Like 0 being like me, where I just have to like read tea leaves and like just stare at Top Shot Explorer all day, and 10 being like Roham and like the Adam Silver from the NBA planning stuff together. I don't know, whoever's at the top planning everything out. Where are you in that like hierarchy, I guess, of info?
That's a really good question. See, I would say just like short answer would be like a 6 or 7, but the longer answer would be like, but like I could be higher if I wanted to. Like, DAP is a very top to bottom, transparent, communicative company, but like there's no reason for me to be involved in discussions. So like, if I wanted to be like, hey, can I join the engineering call about whatever they're working on as like this 3-month project sort of thing? And it might even not even be a public facing feature. It might just be like improving infrastructure behind the scenes. Like, I could be in those calls if I requested it, but like that'd be such a waste of my time, because I can't help there at all. I can't input. I could just listen. And so like, I would say, regardless, like I would say any DAP employee in theory could be like an 8, 9, maybe even a 10 if they really asked for it. But they just, the way it's set up, there's no need for it. But I would say, I really like the question. I feel like I'm probably like a 6. Jacob's probably like an 8. That's how I would give reference.
Okay.
So, but then again,
okay.
Jacob's an 8, but if anything's coming up on the radar that I need to know about, he will let me know, So it's like,
and you've got your stuff you have to focus on, man. You have to keep this community buzzing every day, and you got to keep us in line and, help out all the newcomers and all the other stuff that you do, right? So it's like, you're only going to spend so much of your time trying to dig up what's happening in 2 months' time.
Yeah, exactly. Even like, say you're talking challenges. Obviously, we have like a team that work on challenges, but like I don't need to know until we're about to go live, so I could just be like, okay, cool, this is what we're announcing. Or like Mo on the community team, he tends to announce them. So like generally, I won't even see them until they go live, because there's no need for me to know. There's no need to give more people that sort of quote unquote insider information than is necessary, But it's not like it's a lock and key, throw it away. You have to get access from Rohan directly to see it either. It's just common sense.
You mean Rohan doesn't come to your house with like a briefcase attached and handcuffed to his wrist and a code only he knows to then show you what the next set is? Damn. Okay.
Maybe for other employees. Maybe if you're in Canada, that's what he does. I've not ever met him face to face. I'm not big time like you, mate. So I've not had the chance to.
I realized that recently, actually, that I was like, I've met Roham, which is like most people that work for Top Shot or joined this year have never met him in person.
Yeah,
it's just that's kind of funny how it works out.
It's the wildness of an online digital company that is, in the crypto technology space. Like, it's obviously so easy for us to all be remote based, etc. Like, there's no reason for me to ever actually meet these people face to face. But it's weird that like. Jacob, for example, work with him every single day. We chat probably way more than I should chat to someone, just like every single day we're talking, but I've never even like met him. And that's kind of a weird thing to realize,
Very, very strange, very strange way of working, but hey, pretty cool, I guess, for, what you consider a real job. At least it's like this, right? At least it's digital. You can be relaxed. You could be at home and whatever. So,
exactly.
Luca, do you want to ask you, I want to shift back to trade tickets. That's really interesting to hear, like, what you're saying about how the community picked up on certain elements that you weren't sure which ones they would pick up on. Has there been any behavior towards trade tickets that has surprised you?
Not really, but obviously, when we're talking trade tickets, we're talking about a very big feature that obviously we announced many months ago, and in the last sort of few weeks, let's say, has been okay. We're getting ready to launch it. Um, prepping the blog, prepping the comms, testing the feature, etc. So we had time to sort of, not just myself, but as a group of other employees, talk about what we expect to happen, what might be an issue, etc., etc. So like, I would say the thing that surprised me the most is how many moments have already been traded in. That's definitely surprising. We're at almost like 100,000 moments traded in already. And I'm curious to see what those people who've traded in the moments already are going to do. Like, are they doing it just do the stress test? Are they doing it just to try it out? Like, I'm very interested to see what happens post Tuesday, like after the stress test. But yeah, like I know there was some fella donated a rare moment. I know Stay Mellow donated like a legendary moment to it. I say donated because you can't get those moments in the stress test pack. They're not like traded in. It's worth one ticket. They could have traded in like a base set moment to get the same thing back, but instead they put this legendary moment. I mean, shout out to Stay Mellow. He's been in the community for so long. He's always been so generous. So I'm not surprised. But like what will happen with those moments will be a long-term aspect rather than coming to the community soon, just because of the nature of how we're doing the locker room packs and trade-ins in general. But yeah, like I would say it's gone in that regard kind of how I expected, other than just more people doing that than I might have expected. Like a lot of people are trading like base set LeBrons, and that kind of surprises me. But it's cool because it means that like I'm not saying it is, but I imagine that it's possible that the locker room stress test on Tuesday could be like quite a decent pack for some people now. I haven't checked the numbers, but like you could pull like a couple of LeBrons or a couple of decent base set series 2 moments relative to what you might have traded in. And when I say decent, I'm talking purely like edition size, floor price, etc., that sort of thing.
Yeah, floor price as well. That's it, right? Is that like now we have the chance to pull some like $40, $50 moments in that pack. Whereas I think we all assumed, and it sounds like you guys as well, that they would all just be, it'd be like a kind of weird like recycling of $4 moments.
Yeah, I mean, again, I expected some people to trade it in because it is kind of cool to do that. Like, if you're streaming, right, and you're a content creator, you're like, hey, shout out to my community. I'm going to chuck in this moment. You guys can vote on what moment I chuck in. And I think we'll see more of that in the coming days or weeks. But yeah, just how many people have done it has surprised me.
Are you saying that's what we should have done on our show? Because we didn't do that.
No comment. Not calling you out.
I bought 4 base Miles Turners and traded them in immediately. That was my strategy. So
nice.
I did not. Nice. I was not generous like Stay Mellow, or at least not yet. But everybody listening, you have until, I guess it'll be Monday when you're listening to this. You have until 9:30 a.m. Pacific today to trade in those trade tickets moments. So don't forget that. Luke, I know you obviously can't give us too much more insight into what's coming up on Top Shot, but can you give us any insight into what's going on these days in the community? Like just different things that you guys are changing, maybe in the Discord, or new things you've been doing lately that maybe people haven't picked up on?
This is an amazing question. If I could have written a question for you to ask me, it would have been this question. So thank you. Wow. I don't know if that's just you being super on the ball as always, but we're working a lot with the rolling out of Collabland in the Discord. So what that means is that now you enter a Discord. If you type !join, you can then go through a process where you link your Top Shot account to your Discord account. And that means we can get what's called the verified role. And so this role goes to anyone who owns 10 or more moments. And the plan here is that in the sort of not immediate, but like the next week or two, you're going to see, probably even today, as people listen on Monday, we'll probably do something on this front, but we're going to start saying, okay, if you're not verified, you can't access certain chat channels such as Talking Moments and Talking Hoops. And then over time, we're going to reduce the access that people who aren't verified have. So the idea is we're like trying to encourage a community of people that can say, hey, we're in the main Discord chat channels because we own 10 or more moments. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like creating a community where if you're in the Discord main channels, the people you're talking to are also like real collectors on the platform.
Mhm.
And it serves a lot of benefits. One of the most immediate ones is that we can like reduce a lot of the sort of spam and bad actor
Oh
DMs
yeah.
that you get, because they're not real collectors of people that DM that stuff. Like, you guys all
No.
know, people DM you being like, "Hey, do you want to buy a pack?" And it's a scam. It's not real. Never do that. Turn your DMs off. But like, we can now say, okay, those people, because they're not verified, they can't access the same
Mhm.
channels of people that are verified, which means that they can't
Mhm.
see like the sort of list of people on Discord. And that's kind of, to be honest, I'm actually really excited for it, because it means that we can do a situation where, like, if you join our Discord, you can only see that the list of people, like the list of collectors on Discord if you're also verified yourself, so you couldn't just DM them out of the blue. And that's going to require some quite big structural changes that will be coming in the coming weeks, but it also really nicely sets us up to do more in the future. So, I mean, people
Mhm.
can kind of imagine what this might lead to when you look at, say, like the Nine Lives Lounge. And I'm not saying we're going to do another NLL. That was like a very big undertaking, very specific, but we can say like,
Mhm.
oh, we're going to make maybe like tomorrow, well, not tomorrow, but let's say it's next season, and that night is like Lakers and the Bucks are playing. We could say like, okay, if you own like 50 Lakers moments, you get access to like a Lakers channel for the game, and if you own 50 Bucks
Mhm.
moments, you get access to a Bucks channel, and then you can talk to people who, in theory, will also be fans of the Lakers. And you can say like, hey,
Right.
I'm watching this game, and the Bucks can do the same, and it's like a temporary pop-up channel we could do. And right now, as we're rolling this out, that would be quite hard to figure out who goes in what channel. But when we have it, like, a lot of people are verified, that's literally just making a channel, creating a role, and just adding it on. It takes a few minutes behind the scenes, and you can kind of imagine, I can let you run wild with that, what sort of fun things we could do with that just within Discord
Absolutely.
itself, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big fan of kind of evolving anything you could do in Discord, as you were obviously a huge part of. We created a specific Discord for First Midfest, and I think there's just so many possibilities there. And I know, obviously the Top Shot Discord, at least from an outsider standpoint, a year ago was like a nice place to hang out, and then during the surge in the winter got pretty insane and was like a little, was kind of bursting at the seams. And now seems like you guys have done a great job kind of reining things back in, creating a good community in there, and now you're going to keep optimizing that. So that's really cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good way of putting it. You know, like, we had the surge in signups, and yeah, like, the Discord just got busy. And back then, it was like
Hmm.
Usman and Jacob and Candy were the community team, and three people
Yeah.
who have other stuff to do as well. It was impossible to keep up. So then, we've on the one hand we've expanded the community team, and on the other hand we can like build and prepare infrastructure within Discord that links to Top Shot accounts that allows us to prepare for like future growth. And so in the future, if we had another burst of users all signing up and joining the Discord, there would be a decent amount of like onboarding, so to speak. There would be like an on ramp for them to enter the community at large, which would be like a pleasant and nice experience, because we can use Collabland to like walk through those steps, you know?
Very cool, man. Well, that's really exciting. That'll be fun to kind of just a great project to look forward to, and for that to kind of evolve. Are you hoping, like, I feel like now people have kind of broken off in the Top Shot community into a bunch of satellite communities, right? Like obviously the First Mint, we have our own. Most of the other content providers, analytics platforms have also created their own sub communities. I know people have started discords for sets and for teams. Are you hoping to kind of rein them all back in, or is this will just be like an added layer to the general Top Shot experience?
I would say like a little bit of both. Like,
Hmm.
definitely we're not hoping to stop those satellite communities. As you'll know, like, I really enjoy those. I'm active in some of them. I'm in the First Mint server. I'm in the Cool Cats fan made server, the Hustle and Show fan made server. Like, I think they're awesome, and I think they're actually a benefit to the wider community, because it gives them a space to like go a little bit crazy, create some stuff, and then bring it back to the main community and be like, hey, this is what we've done, And I think that is awesome, because in any NFT platform in this space, in any sort of area where you have people that are so creative and so passionate about a platform, it's awesome that they can take their own charge there. But at the same time, yeah, it's a nice level up for our Discord that won't stop those Discords from existing, but allow us to work better with them, work more closely with them, sort of thing, in the long term, which I'm really excited for, to be honest. And I do think it's a little bit of a teething process to get there, because we have to get everyone to get on board with this idea that it's worth signing up to Collab. I mean, it takes like 3 minutes to do, but people are
Yeah.
busy. I get it, but yeah, I think those Discords will continue to exist for sure, and we'll continue to support and be active in them.
Like that. People are busy, and like it's like I can't take 2 minutes away from poring over these 3 blog posts and buying like 50 moments and chatting on Twitter all day. I can't take 3 minutes away from that to verify myself in Discord. Sorry, I'm too busy.
I mean, yeah, kind of.
Okay,
I think
very
what it
cool,
is.
man. Yeah,
So I was just gonna
yeah.
say, I think what it is it's more like there's not the urgency at the moment. So hopefully in the near future, people feel a bit more of that urgency, and that will encourage them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, I think I trust in you guys to come up with some really cool stuff that'll happen in there that, kind of bring people back around. So, Luke, I know we're short on time. Outside of Top Shot, do you peruse other NFTs that you're willing to share with us? Are you allowed? Are you willing to admit that you look at other NFTs?
I'm definitely allowed to. I'm always hesitant because I'm aware, Top Shot and Dapper Labs, we're bringing people to the blockchain. Like we're bringing like so many people have joined NFT projects and other platforms and made their own NFTs, etc. Because like Top Shot was the gateway to it, and so that makes me conscious that right now there's thousands, if not tens of thousands, of people that are signed up to Top Shot and are slowly learning about other NFT projects. And so I'm conscious that as a voice of Dapper Labs, in a certain degree, for working for Dapper Labs, I don't speak for Dapper Labs, but I work for them. I wouldn't want someone who's new to NFTs hear me talk about a project and like throw money into it without really researching it. So I'm very cautious to be like not over sort of talking about it. But yeah, I do dibble and dabble all the time. To be honest, I'm still very trying to get on projects here and there. Bought a couple early, for example, paid the high gas. You know how it is, but nothing in particular. I think like I really like a few projects, but again, I don't want to pump the bag, so to speak. So I'm trying to be careful how I word it, But like, there's some projects out there that are given a lot of utility, and I would just say like any project who's got like a very sort of quote unquote basic roadmap, I tend to avoid. Where it's just, we're going to do a giveaway when we sell out and stuff like that. I focus more on those projects that are talking about like, here's a big feature that I'm working on. Here's what you'll be able to do. Like, for example, the Penelope's NFT project, RSOP, for example, both of those are doing some like really interesting, exciting stuff that's a little bit different to what we're seeing on other platforms. So I'm not saying buy them. I'm just saying go and look at what they're doing. That's what you should look for in a project, in my opinion. Something that like stands out,
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think we're at that point now, and especially since kind of like the Bored Apes boom back at the end of April, where people started getting the PFPs, that it's like now people are looking way deeper than that, and those are 2 great examples. Carlini, great community member, also behind that Penelope's project as well. So great to see kind of Top Shot OGs branching off, doing other stuff like that. He's also done tons of other NFT projects. It's not like that's his first thing, but always love to see people we know finding success. So that's very cool.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that someone like Carlini's behind the project is another thing to look for, like someone who's got experience in the space and has proven they're not like just going to pull the rug. He's not just like, I've made 50 Ethereum, I'm out. Like he's in for the long haul,
Luke, last question for you. The dog rescue you work with, I'd love to know more.
Yeah, so I work quite closely with what's called Bon Voyage. It's a little pun, a little play on Bon Voyage. And we sort of rescue dogs from the streets in Mexico or from bad homes or underprivileged sort of situations. We get them treated by a vet, we sterilize them, all that stuff, make sure they're nice and healthy, and then we rehome them in the US and Canada. Like it's really cool because we're in a place where there's a lot of street dogs and there's a lot of problems with that, and we get to send those dogs to areas such as like Washington and Seattle, Arizona and Phoenix, in Vegas, in Vancouver in Canada, where there's not many street dogs. There's actually like shelters we work with in the US and Canada that are like, hey, we've got loads of empty space. We kind of quote unquote need these dogs. And we'll be like, okay, let's fly up 20 dogs. They can live this really awesome life. And they all tend to get adopted like within a couple of weeks. And like, I'll tell you what, mate, it's crazy seeing a dog that I've rescued on the streets of Mexico and then like a month later seeing a photo of him on a mountain in Canada. And it's like blows my mind, So yeah, I work really closely on that. If anyone wants to check it out, there's just type in Bon Voyage Dog Rescue on Instagram or on Google, find the website. And we're always looking for like volunteer help. So if you're ever in Mexico and you're flying back to the US or Canada, we will pay for dogs to go on your flight. You don't have to do anything. You just fly a bunch of dogs. And it's really fun and really rewarding.
Just have to be under your name on the flight.
Yeah, exactly. And you just kind of walk them into customs and walk them out of customs. And people are like, we have teams on the airports and stuff like that. Volunteers like me will be on the other side. So if anybody is seriously interested, do reach out to me. I will talk about it at length, but I'm always open to talk about it.
Very cool, man. Good on you. How'd you get involved with that?
Just started rescuing dogs myself in Mexico. Been doing that for like 6 months or so, and like I could only ever take 1 or 2 dogs on at a time. And I was like, I need to scale this up. So I started reaching out to groups that were doing similar, and found Bon Voyage when they were still fairly early in the process, and then kind of went from there and been very involved with them. So I helped run like the social, I helped do some fundraising and stuff like that. You know, and also directly rescuing dogs. But so I guess I just started by finding a dog on the street and deciding I had to help it, that kind of thing.
Very cool, man. Good on you.
Have you got a dog?
You're kind of man. No, I don't have a dog. Uh-oh.
Sounds like you need a dog. Sounds like I got to sort you out with a dog, mate. I see. I'll fly up tomorrow. Don't worry.
I was with a dog earlier. And it was a very nice dog, and it was a rescue. So maybe it's a dog you know.
But literally, it's possible. Like, there's so many dogs in like Vancouver that have been rescued from Mexico. It's insane. There's also people that do it in like Korea and Japan, I believe, or Korea and somewhere else. And that's also really cool. But yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Final thoughts, Luke. Are there any ambiguous teasers you can leave us with as we wrap up for Top
ambiguous
Shot?
Teasers, mate. What is that? What are you trying to get out of me? I don't have any, to be honest. Not because like I don't want to, but just because I feel like we've just released trade tickets. People know what we've talked about happening in the off season. People know what to expect is to come. So I don't feel like there's any need for me to highlight it. If you're new to the community and you're not sure, just jump into Discord and ask people. People know. You know, we've mentioned, you know, run it back. We've mentioned trade tickets was the other one. You know, like, I'm not saying what is or isn't coming soon. I'm just saying like people already know what is expected. I would say I'm more want to comment on. I'm excited for the next 6 months for the community, not for what we're going to release, not for what we're going to put out, but I think we're just going to see that the community are coming together more than ever, because we're past the days of people just getting in because they want to flip NFTs and they don't really know NBA. And we're now in that period of time where, like, you see it in the Discord, you see it on Twitter. Everyone who's talking about Top Shot is now like way more of an NBA fan than before. Like the balance has shifted quite a lot, and I think that's really exciting for what the next 6 months could entail from just the community itself. Like I think we're going to see, personally, next season people going to NBA games with people they met through Top Shot, and that's just wild to imagine. You know,
When are you going to get to go to an NBA game?
I don't know, mate. When they decide I'm allowed out of Mexico, when Roham lets me out of the cage in Mexico. No, I imagine it will be. I would like to, for, like, you know, the tip off would be awesome, but I've got no hard plans because, again, you know, the pandemic and stuff. It's hard to book traveling in advance at the moment, so we'll see. So what about you? You got any plans for the start of the season?
Maybe. I mean, I'm pretty far from any NBA team, right? Like, it's like Toronto is a 5-hour flight away. So that's a big commitment. And even the closest is like Portland, which is still like an 1.5 hour long flight and involves, you know, crossing the border. So I don't know, man. We're kind of on like this weird pocket where there's like not much around here, NBA wise. So maybe,
That's true.
maybe we'll see a little later in the season. Maybe there'll be some stuff on Top Shot that'll entice me to go, right? Maybe there'll be more giveaways or something I can get in on. And if I win, then people freak out because they'll think that it's fixed. I can never win anything on Top Shot ever again.
Now you've said this as well, like, if there's like a game, if there's something that happens in Portland and you win, I'm out. I'm just done. Now that you've said it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, Luke, thank you very much, man. It's been great to have you on the show.
Appreciate it, mate. Always happy to jump on and chat Top Shot. Just thanks for taking the time. I love what you're doing, and I'll be listening to episode number 100. Very excited for the special guest.
And that is going to do it for us today, folks. Thank you for listening. Keep in mind, tomorrow we got Club Cold Brew, so tune in for that during drop time. And otherwise, we'll see you for episode number 100, Wednesday on the First Met.